Hi, good morning. Chris Gillespie here again, and I'm thankful that you've joined me again. This is the fifth Sunday that the church has been separated from one another, and as I've been reminding myself every single day, and our students and our family at Deer Meadows Baptist Church right here in Jacksonville, Florida, and that is, even though that we can't be together, we can still be together, and we can find ways to be together. And I have been amazed and humbled and just in shock and awe of how the church and how you have been there for each other. And the stories that I have heard are far and deep. And just thank you. Thank you for those of you that have reached out to our family. And I hope you have folks that are reaching out to you. If you don't have a place to worship today on Sunday morning, I'd encourage you to head on over to deermeadows.org. Our worship will begin live online at 10:15. I have a piece of scripture I want to read for you today that I've been kind of reading back and forth this week and been studying the writings of Paul, especially the writings of Paul where Paul was imprisoned. Now, we aren't in prison. I don't think you're in prison, even though it may seem like you're in prison. But there are a number of letters that Paul wrote to the churches in the New Testament where he was actually under house arrest and felt like he was in prison. And one of those is Philippians. Another one of those is Ephesians. And keep in mind that the words that I'm about to read to you, you may have heard before if you grew up in church. If you did not grow up in church, this may be brand new to you. But these words were written by Paul to the church at Ephesus while he was under house arrest, awaiting death because of what he believed about Jesus, that he believed Jesus was the Son of God and that he was resurrected on the third day on Easter Sunday morning, which we celebrated last week. Hear these words of chapter 4 of the book of Ephesians. As a prisoner, Paul says, as a prisoner for the Lord, then I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling that you have received. And that is a word for every one of you that are listening. Everyone has received a calling by God to do radical, life-changing, life-improving, life-giving things. I hate the word things, but I just used it. Things for other people, not just for yourself. For other people, to push them to understand Jesus more in their life and other people's lives. The calling that you have received. Paul goes on to say in verse 2, be completely humble and gentle, be patient, bearing with one another. And I know that we have got a lot of bearing with one another that we are enduring right now, and most of it has to do with inside of our own families, because many of us are not leaving our homes and we're staying safe. And I imagine that if you're anything like me, that you've had an opportunity to flex the bearing with other people muscle and work that muscle out, right? Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of spirit through the bond of peace. Think about that, folks. He wrote that from prison, from a prison cell, to other believers, encouraging them to keep every effort to keep the unity of spirit through the bond of peace. And I hope and I pray for you a peaceful week. You know, we are living in a time that it is full of stress. So my word for you on this Sunday morning as you're waking, or wherever you might be seeing or reading or hearing this, is that you have the peace of Christ living in you. Not only when you wake, but when you lay down and sleep, that you sleep knowing that Jesus still loves you, and that the peace of God through His Spirit lives inside of you. So friends, I'm thankful for you, and may you experience the life-changing peace that Paul talked about while he was under house arrest, awaiting death, writing to a church at Ephesus, that we have recorded here in our scripture, and may that peace be with you day, night, as you sleep, as you rise, as you raise children, as you walk this journey, as we walk this journey together. And if you don't have a place to worship, I just encourage you to join me at dearmeadows.org. We have worship live, worship experience at 10:15 every Sunday morning. I'm thankful for you. Have a great week.